In this episode, we say goodbye to DeAaron Fox and his career as a Sacramento King, and we talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, the shoulda, the coulda, the woulda, and what could have been here in Sacramento and what we have now in this episode.
He stops. He fires from 20. He's got the bucket. Look out! You don't like NBA basketball. Oh my goodness gracious! It's all over here in Houston.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on Sacktown Hoops and Hype. My name is Carl Thornton. I will be your host. Today, we're going to talk about the trade of DeAaron Fox and what we brought back here with Zach Levine. And I'm just going to get right into it. And I'm going to keep it real. I've seen every single moment of DeAaron Fox's career here in Sacramento. And it was always just one of them things to me where it was, he should have done this. He could have done this. He should have been a little bit better than what he was, or whatever the case may be. I just think that we always just we wanted a little bit more and we never got that more, right? I really do think that he fed into the fourth quarter Fox and the angry Fox just a little bit too much. And it left us wondering, what about the other three quarters, right? What are you doing when you're not angry, right? And there's a lot of question marks about, what shoulda, what coulda, what would have been with in his career here in Sacramento. Now, I'm gonna be fair to De'Aaron. He's a heck of a ball player, super talented, probably one of the most talented players that we've, had here in Sacramento. I've been a fan for about 30 years. I've seen just about everything. You know what I mean? I've seen people come, I've seen people go. Now, if I just have to be real, I see a lot of stats, but I don't see a lot of winning, right? I see a lot of talk. I see a lot of people placing what they think he should have been on him like right now. I just don't think he was that guy. I don't think that he was consistent enough as a leader. I don't think he was consistent enough with his energy. I don't think he was consistent enough with his competitiveness, to be a leader. And, when you peg somebody as a leader of the team is going to go as, that leader goes. And to me, his inconsistency is the reason why the team was inconsistent, because you're following the lead of an inconsistent type of person. I hope that makes sense. You know, I got a lot of love for De'Aaron Fox, but I think at the end of the day, I think this was probably the best move for him, and I think this was the best move for the franchise. And I think that, just to be honest, and this is my opinion, I think that Zach Levine is a much better player. We can start with the shooting percentage, right? His 3-point shot. Zach Levine is a shooter. He's athletic. He's bigger, right? Now, I've heard a lot of arguments about, talking about Fox, we're going to be much worse defensively. But, we have to keep it real. Was this team a great defensive team when Fox was here? We were at the bottom of the barrel every single year, maybe except for this year. The bottom of the barrel while he was the leader of this team. You cannot sit there and tell me that we just lost a great defender. Yeah, sure, in spurts. Yeah, sure. Sometimes, in the fourth quarter, when fourth quarter Fox kicks in, then he'll get a big steal. But then what about on the other end when he dribbles the ball off of his foot? He does a bad pass. He does a bonehead foul in the corner, fouling a 3-point shooter who made it, and we end up losing that game, right? So there's just so many things that I just don't think that it was conducive to winning. I think that he put up a lot of stats, but it didn't necessarily mean winning. He was a very exciting player. Again, one of the best this franchise I've ever seen. But when you want to put somebody into the great category, it has to be more than just stats. It has to equal winning in some way, shape, or form, right? And he didn't equal winning. I mean, they went to the playoffs one year, went to the play-in, and every other year after that, or before that, losing seasons all the way across the board, right? Not even close, right? And all the accolades that he got, yeah, that was cool, whatever. But at the end of the day, the reason why some of these other players get the nod over him and some of the all-star bids and some of these other things that they get is mainly because he wasn't promoting winning. Now, there's a couple of different categories that I look for in a great player. And these are up for debate or whatever the case. These are just my opinions again. But I think as a point guard, in order for you to be a great point guard, you have to make the players around you better. I never said that about Fox. He hasn't ever made anybody around him better. I think he just kinda he plays. He puts up a lot of stats, right? It looks really good, but the people around him never really benefited from what he was doing, right? When you bring in Demonis Sabonis, it's like, okay, it's gonna open it up for whatever the case may be. It's gonna open up for people on the perimeter, the pick and roll, the fox and the ox, or whatever the case may be. But it just didn't materialize the way it was supposed to. And the reason why is because there's DeAaron and then there's the rest of the team. And he just, to me, did not make any of his teammates better at any point in his career. Now, you know, there's a category for players like him as well. And I want to call them certified bucket getters, right? When you have a certified bucket getter, these are the guys that get buckets and they put so much pressure on the defense that it really does promote winning because anything that you get from anyone else, is a plus and it can help the team win. So they kind of help the team win by just getting buckets, right? But I can't quite put him in that category because he's a bucket getter, but it was just really inconsistent on, when he decided to get these buckets, right? The numbers, yes, they look great, but how he got them sometimes just wasn't so great. Now, he didn't get a lot of foul calls, right? So that means that his shot percentage is going to be a lot different from a lot of these other top level point guards, right? That get to the free throw line. He got to the free throw line a little bit this year, but for the most part for his career, he didn't get to the free throw line a whole lot, right? So you just take a look at his numbers in a vacuum, and you actually see that he shot a lot of shots. Not a very efficient person, especially from three. When he decided he wanted to go to the rack, yes, very efficient. That mid range jump shot, very efficient. But why did all of a sudden he just stop doing it? All of a sudden he just wanted to settle for the three. All of a sudden he just did not want to go to the paint anymore. And that was one of the things to me that separates a Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, a Jalen Brunson, a Kyrie Irving. They kinda do what they do well, and they do it to the best of their ability. Why go away from it if it's your calling card, right? And he just really went away from going to the rack as much as he was in that mid-range shot. I think it really hurt this team when he started doing that, when he decided he wanted to become a three-point shooter, because that led to, a 30%, 31% 3-point field goal percentage. On top of that, now all of a sudden, you're not putting any pressure on the defense, and it's really easy to guard. If you come down, I'm gonna let you shoot, right? I'm just gonna let you shoot it. You're 30%. You're not gonna hit a whole lot of these free throws or these three pointers because the percentage is a percentage. You know what I mean? So, another thing I want to talk about as well is, this angry Fox versus fourth quarter Fox. And again, I just want to revisit it a little bit because I think he really did embrace that a lot. And we got to keep in mind too, these are younger players. When people started talking about the angry Fox and the fourth quarter Fox, this is, a couple of years ago, especially when he won the clutch player of the year, they start talking about fourth quarter Fox. I think he really did embrace that a little bit too much, right? Yes, of course it's there. Yes, you can get buckets in the fourth, but what about the other quarters, right? What about the other quarters when you're just sitting around, you're not giving the best effort, and then the fourth quarter comes around, this fourth quarter Fox kicks in, and then all of a sudden, you look like one of the best players in the league, right? I think that if you would have been that this whole entire time, we would have been having a different conversation. You wouldn't have been looking to move to go play with better players. Better players will be looking to come play with you. And I think that your vision of yourself and the actual product that was on the floor just didn't really line up, and I think that now, I wish you nothing but the best, Fox. And I hope that you get everything that you want, from San Antonio. But just me seeing the career of Fox, I just don't think that it is not gonna equal more winning when he goes to play with Wembanyama. I just don't think it is. I'm just being real because they have a lot of talented a lot of talented players there, right? Maybe Chris Paul, maybe some good coaching from Popovich if he comes back. Chris Paul is a heck of a player, and he's one of those players on my list that makes people and his teammates better. And then hopefully he can learn a lot from Chris Paul and something about making his teammates better. Taking it to the level of intensity that you need to play with on a daily basis, or just to make it in this league or to become that player that gets these all-star nods year after year, because there really isn't a reason for him to be an all-star one year, put up similar or better numbers the following year, and then not make that all-star team. And it's because he starts off MVP like. By the all-star break, we get this version of De'Aaron Fox where, we're talking 32, 33 points a game at the beginning of the season. In some kind of way, it just tapers off to 25 to 24 to 23. Then by the time at the end of the year, we're looking at about 24 points. You're talking about like a 6 to 7 point differential from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. But how do we get there in between, right? You're not putting up really gaudy numbers no more. You must be doing something that's much lower than what the average that you're going to finish with. When I'm talking 17, 18 points a game, when, 15 points, you know, in order to bring that average down, that means that in the meantime, you start off hot, but then we get a bunch of BS in the meantime, right? We don't need that. We don't need the inconsistency. We need you to be that player. Not that you have to average the 30, 35 points or whatever a game, but what if we just kept it at, the 27 and it just stayed there consistently, right? And you're here more often than you're down here, right? Or what if you just stayed here for the whole entire season? Not that you have to do it every single game, but you're going to do it more often than not. And I figured, whenever De'Aaron Fox was on the court, we didn't know which De'Aaron Fox we were going to get. Is it going to be, the lackadaisical De'Aaron Fox? Is it going to be angry Fox? Maybe somebody pissed him off in the locker room. Maybe we're just going to get the regular Fox when he just comes out and he just kind of does his thing. Are we going to get the Fox that is ready for the fourth quarter Fox to take over? So we just didn't know. And I think that this trade with Zach Levine is going to be everything that the Kings need, because now we are in elite wing territory, right? In just a blink of an eye, we have no wings, and then boom, all of a sudden we're in elite wing territory. DeMar DeRozan, um, Zach Levine, and also Keegan Murray. But then when you throw in a Malik Monk, right? Young, exciting, intense. We need the intensity. And I think a lot of the times, just Fox's demeanor, he's just a real cool dude. You know what I mean? Real cool dude. And sometimes I think that hurt the team because everybody's going off of that. They're looking at him on how they should act because this is supposed to be the leader of this team. And I think it hurt the team. I think that when you watch some of these other teams and you see the competitive level, you see how intense it is, and it makes me wonder, like, wow, I just watched the Kings game and it wasn't that intense. I don't know if they can keep up with this intensity of a Boston Celtics, of a OKC, even a Milwaukee Bucks, even the Clippers. They play with a certain level of intensity that we just didn't have. But now I think we have that. I think we have a great starting five, a great starting five. Just think about it. Just take a step back, trade aside, just look at the players that we have. You didn't lose a whole lot by bringing in Zach Levine and getting rid of a De'Aaron Fox. Now, people make it seem like we just traded a Luka Doncic or a Shea Gilgeous Alexander or a Giannis. No, not even close. Not even the same, even in the same realm. Not even in the same realm. We're talking about a player that could have been great when he wanted to be, but just a good player. I think we got back a player that is a great player, to be honest with you, and I think we're gonna see that because he's gonna be more consistent. He's a higher field goal percentage. He does a lot of the same things that De'Aaron Fox does, okay, given, the spotty defense or whatever the case may be, but I don't think that's a real big deal when you take a look at the way De'Aaron Fox played defense. I seen this guy just give up wide open shots. I seen him just let people blow right by him. I seen him play help defense when his guy's wide open in the corner, try to scramble back and just give up wide open threes. I've seen this with my eye. That hurts the team. Okay, yeah, you can play good on ball defense when you feel like it. You can get a steal when you feel like it. But where's the consistency? even if Zach Levine gives us a little, even if he just sits there on that guy and don't let him give up wide open threes, I think that makes a difference right now, today, right now, hands down. Everybody gets blown by in the NBA. These players are great, right? I'm not going to hold that against you. But when you're giving up a wide open three to a person that's hot time and time and time again, that's a problem. You take a look at the game against OKC. Who was checking Aaron Wiggins? I'm just curious. Did anybody know? Who was guarding Aaron Wiggins? This dude had a career high 42 points. Aaron Wiggins. Who the hell is Aaron Wiggins, right? Just take a look at that if you really want to, and just take a look at some of Fox's plays when he was guarding Aaron Wiggins. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. The dude was just blowing right by him. No lazy contested threes. And maybe he just was kind of checked out already. You know what I mean? Maybe he was just checked out. Maybe he knew this could have been the last game. Maybe he just did it. He didn't want to get hurt. But that's not what great players do. Great players go out there and they lay it all on the line. They don't hold anything back. And I've seen a lot of hold back from DeAaron Fox. So this is the truth about Fox. And I think that he's a good player, not a great player. And I think that, this franchise deserves a player that's going to come out and they're going to work hard every single day. They're going to step on that court and they're going to give you the intensity. They're going to give you the competitive, level that really promotes winning, right? I don't think that Fox did that over his time. Now, there's a lot of respect for what he did, but at the end of the day, did it equal more wins? I think not. I think that we're in a much better position today. Look at what Monty did. If you just take a look at it, we got DeMar DeRozan, we got Zach Levine, we got Domantas Sabonis. We can say that two of these guys are on the track to be going to the Hall of Fame. And who knows what Zach Levine's career is going to give him here. Hopefully he can stay healthy, and hopefully he can show everybody that he's better on defense than what people were saying. So right now, today, I'm saying right here that I think that the Sacramento Kings are much better without De'Aaron Fox than with him. And the piece that we brought back is a much better piece that fits exactly what we're trying to do here in Sacramento. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe. It really does help out a lot. It keeps me here in my space. It keeps me doing what I'm doing. It gives me the motivation and the enthusiasm to continue to do this when I know people are watching and they respect it. And, I'm just grateful to be here. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. You guys have a good one. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.